what the hell was that? Definitely confused, definitely worried, a little bit scared. Pray for me, I need help. Nothing in the entire book gets explained, and only about 50% of it makes sense. Don't go into this book not knowing anything if you have a sensitive stomach. I'm killing it this vlog. Oh my god. I'm so tired. It's not good, but I'm gonna keep reading it. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. I get it why the girlies love Agatha. Maybe I'm just not smart enough for this book. Martha, you did too much. Hi. Hello, it's Jess. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to the vlog. I'm sure that you've read the title, so you know that this is a 24-hour challenge vlog. I'm very, very excited because I actually just tried to do a 24-hour challenge last month, but because I was going to visit family, I just drastically failed in the middle of it. So we're trying again. This 24-hour challenge also sort of has a theme to it. As of right now, I have read 81 books this year. That is way more than I have ever read in my entire life. And I genuinely don't think in coming years I'm ever going to read this much again. To give a little bit of comparison, last year, over the course of the entire year, I read 58 books and I was very happy with that number. This year I've read 81 books and we're not even finished with the year. This is an anomaly year. I'm already planning my goals for next year and I know it is just not going to happen. Even though I always set like a number of books I'd like to read in the year, I genuinely don't actually care how many books I read in the year. I much more care about enjoying the books that I read. But because I've read so many books this year, I just thought it would be kind of fun to see how many books can I actually get read this year? Because this is going to be like my personal best in terms of number of books. So I kind of just want to see and challenge myself to like, how high can I get that number? And ultimately the actual number doesn't really matter all that much, but I am kind of competitive with myself. So I do want to see like, how high can I get that number? I'm going to do a 24-hour reading challenge. I'm going to time myself on my phone and I will only be using the timer while I am actively reading with no other background distractions, only pure devoted reading time. And I'm going to read all of the shortest books that are on my physical TBR. And I'm just going to see like how many of these short books can I pump out? And you know what? I know that there are some people who are like, you're artfully inflating your books read because these are just like short books, but like who cares? Literally who cares? Who cares? I'm not getting graded on this. Like no one's gonna come to my house and give me an award because I had like my personal best reading year. Like literally no one cares. So let's just see for fun, how high can I get that number? I have quite a few very short books on my TBR. Now I actually want to start with the longest of the short books. I'm actually going to start with Bunny by Mona Awad, mainly because I just want to. I just want to. And this whole 24 hours, I'm going to be picking up whichever book I want to. And you can't stop me because I make the rules in my own channel. Here we go. Let's start the 24-hour reading challenge. I did just finish my stream, so I will be going to sleep in a couple hours probably, but I want to see if I can get like 1.5-ish hours already on the clock today, maybe get 100 pages read, and I will check in tomorrow. Jump scare. Sorry, I couldn't resist since I have the face mask on. Good morning, same sweater, next day. This is going to be really fast. I just wanted to give a quick update because I read part 1 of Bunny and What the hell was that? What the hell was that? Literally, what the hell was that? I don't really have anything to say. I don't know what just happened. I'm definitely confused, definitely worried, a little bit scared. Genuinely, I don't know what I think about this book. I'm just really, really confused. And I just want to tell you that I read part 1, and what the hell was that? What the hell was that? We're off to a great start with this vlog. I'm gonna go finish my skincare and stream and then read some more, and I will talk to you later, maybe when I finished Bunny. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, so pray for me. I need help. Hello and good morning, friends. It is Sunday evening, which means we are just at the start of my weekend. I have the next 2 days off, and we're gonna spend those days reading as much as we can. I would like to read a minimum of 2 books today. We'll see how it goes. I'd like to read more, ideally, but we are 5 hours and 11 minutes into this readathon, and I have finished Bunny by Mona Awad. So I realized earlier that I never even told you all what this book is about. At this point, I sort of feel like Bunny no longer needs an introduction because it is so beloved on the internet in like every book community that exists. But if you are unaware, this is an adult horror novel, and it follows Samantha, who is in a grad program at a college. It's a very prestigious college, and she is in their writing program. And the only other people that are in this writing program with her are these 4 other women, and they are bizarre. They all only hang out with each other, only talk to each other, and they all call each other Bunny. Samantha very much looks down on these 4 women and spends quite a bit of time making fun of them, but at the same time, she is so very intrigued by these women who look like they are just so well put together and know what they're doing and have such a focus with their writing and just are obsessed with each other. Then one day, Samantha gets invited to join these women at what they call their smut salon, which is basically like where they get together and have some drinks and then like read the pieces that they wrote this week that they didn't necessarily talk about in class. And even though Samantha definitely looks down on these women, she decides to go, and then things get so weird, so very weird. You guys saw my update at part 1 of this book. This is one of the weirdest books I've ever read. If you're waiting to know what I'm rating this book, I genuinely have no idea. Like, I just simply do not know. You're gonna have to wait for a future update to know how many stars this book gets, because like I don't know. It's just so bizarre and surreal, and the whole thing is kind of like a fever dream, and nothing in the entire book gets explained, and only about 50% of it makes sense. It's very good. Like, it's excellent, don't get me wrong. I don't know. I don't want to tell you anything else about the plot other than the setup, which I just told you, which honestly happens in the very beginning of the book. Samantha gets wrapped up with these women very, very quickly, but I genuinely don't think that you should know anything else going into this book. If you like adult horror and you want something that's just like a fever dream where nothing gets explained, but it is also like spectacular, then this is the book for you. It's an experience. Reading this book is an experience. I want to read everything else Mona Awad ever writes now. Like, I cannot wait to read something else by her. That's Bunny. We're 5 hours into this readathon. Like I mentioned before, I'm off today. I'm not kidding when I say I plan to spend as much of today as possible reading. So I have picked my next book. It is When the Reckoning Comes by Latanya McQueen. This is another adult horror. This book follows Mira, who is going to her friend's wedding. Her friend is a white woman and she is having the wedding at this plantation. Obviously, at this plantation in the past, there were many slaves, all of whom were treated terribly, many of whom were killed and like brutally tortured. And now in the present day at this wedding, bad things are gonna happen. That's really all I know about this book. I've heard really, really great things about this. I've heard it is so creepy. So yeah, I'm gonna go read my second adult horror of this vlog. I genuinely think I'm like just gonna stay here at my computer. I'm gonna put on my comfort K-pop playlist so that even though I'm reading a scary book, I have that to keep me calm. I think I'm just gonna talk to you when I finish my second book of the vlog. Later. I'm back. Same exact spot. I pretty much only got up to get a snack and go to the bathroom. We are now 10 hours and 29 minutes into this readathon. I've been reading for 5 hours and I have finished When the Reckoning Comes. This actually took me longer than I thought it would to read. It's definitely smaller print than I thought it would be, and like the formatting makes it seem like it is very short, but it's actually longer than it appears. Oh baby, this is so good. 5 stars instantly. I knew it right away. It's so good. I don't want to talk about specifics about this book because it's so short. I don't want to accidentally spoil it, but I will just say that it definitely was not what I thought it was going to be. The synopsis is accurate, and the commentary about racism and slavery in the United States and how that is still affecting things today, all of that is what I expected for sure. What I didn't expect was how the horror played out. It was much slower than I thought it was going to be, and also it was definitely less bloody than I thought it was going to be, but also more graphic than I thought it was going to be. If you have a sensitive stomach, check the full in-depth trigger warnings for this book. Don't go into this book not knowing anything if you have a sensitive stomach. It's even better than I thought it was going to be. I want to make it clear, like, whatever expectations I had for this book, it exceeded them across the board. I think it's outstanding. I think it's so good. It's also making me very, very sad and infuriated, which it should. Let's be honest, US history is hot garbage and racist, and there's still so much racism today. So, like, you should be mad about it. You should be mad about it. I know that I'm not coming across very enthusiastically right now, and I'm sorry about that. This book is definitely, like, affecting my mood, and that's fine. Like, it's definitely a heavy book. That's why I said, again, check the content warnings on here. But 5 out of 5 stars. I have chosen my next book also. I'm gonna get some food after this and probably like do a little bit of cleaning around the house and then come back and sit back down and do some reading. But next up is Untethered Sky by Fonda Lee. This is only 150 pages, so I can definitely still finish this today. This is an adult fantasy novella. You follow a woman who, when she was a child, a manticore attacked her family and killed her mother and her baby brother. As an adult, she now works in this like subsection of the military that works with rocks and flies them and hunts with them. They are gigantic, legendary birds, and they are the only natural predator of the manticore. So basically, she's out for revenge and she's gonna hunt some monsters. I am nervous about this book because I did not love the Greenbone Saga as much as everybody else did. So I'm hoping that I really, really enjoy this because I did buy this brand new hardback as soon as it came out because I did really love Jade City. I just didn't enjoy the rest of the series as much. So we'll see. This will be giving Fonda Lee a second chance. So hopefully it goes good. I will talk to you when I have finished Untethered Sky. You know, I gotta say, I'm killing it this vlog. 3 books down. We are now 12 hours and 10 minutes into this vlog, so just over halfway. So Untethered Sky, it was fine. It was good, not great. I do think that maybe Fonda Lee is not an author for me. And that is fine because, like, obviously not every author is going to work for every reader. And Fonda Lee is extremely popular, and I am very happy for them. I am sad for me that I just don't think they're for me. I don't really have any complaints when it comes to this book other than the fact that, like, I just for some reason have a hard time feeling super connected to the story. It is the same way that I felt when reading the Greenbone Saga, and that's why I think that it is a me problem. Like, I don't think it is the book. I just am feeling very similar to how I felt when reading the Greenbone Saga. Now, that being said, this is not bad. Again, I don't really have any complaints about the story, you know, like, it is what it is. I think it's good for what it is. I did also want to note that this is very short. Like I said, it's only 150 pages. So again, there isn't a lot of substance in here, but I think that I do recommend this for people who like fantasy stories that revolve around a character and their animal companion, and they also like Fonda Lee's writing. I think that if those sound like something that you'd be into, I think you could really, really enjoy this little novella. One thing that I did like about this story too that I thought was interesting is that this is the only adult fantasy with an animal companion that I personally have read where the animal, like, doesn't care about the human companion. Like in this case, the rocks are still very much wild animals. They do not have affection for their human handlers. They have like a working relationship with them, but at their heart, like they are still very much wild animals. And that honestly was probably my favorite component of the book, especially because I've spent a lot of time learning about like animal conservation this year. And I don't know, I really liked how that was incorporated into the novella, like caring for this wild animal that you work with that really doesn't care about you, but you have to make it do what you need it to do. Obviously, this book is not about animal conservation. It is about using wild animals to hunt monsters. But I don't know, I did just like that. I thought it was interesting. So yeah, I mean, if this is a book for you, I do recommend it. I finished 2 books today, like I said that I wanted to, but I'm not done. I have a little bit of cleaning and like some admin type stuff that I need to do around the house. And so I don't think I'm gonna check in with you guys again today. I think the next time I see you will be tomorrow, but I did just want to talk about what I'm going to read next, because after I'm done with what I need to do around the house, I'm gonna go actually get in bed and read in bed for a little while, and I'm going to try to finish the current fantasy romance book that I'm in the middle of. It's called Vicious Fae, and it is the 3rd book in a 5-book series. It is a fantasy romance. Yes, it is a why choose romance. The first 2 books in the series were not really that great, and to be perfectly honest, I don't think I recommend this series. However, it is highly entertaining, and I wrote it down, I'm on page 414 out of 636 pages, so I've only got like a little bit over 200 pages to finish this book. So I thought, you know what? I just had to use a lot of brain power in order to read Bunny and When the Reckoning Comes, so I might as well just like let my brain rest and finish off this fantasy romance that requires 0 thoughts from me, and that will be 4 books. So yeah, that's my plans for the rest of the day. I will check in tomorrow and let you know whether I finish this not very good book. Later. Oh my god. I'm so tired. Dexter woke me up like 4 times last night. It's gonna be a long day today, but thankfully, all I have to do is read. After the last update yesterday, I finished Vicious Fae. So we're now 14 hours and 48 minutes into this readathon. Like I said, I had just over 200 pages left in Vicious Fae. It's not good, but I'm gonna keep reading it. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. I'm honestly gonna give Vicious Fae 2 stars. I really don't want to like get into what this whole series is about. I'll talk about it more in depth in my monthly wrap up, but like I'm already 3 books deep into it, and there's only 5 total, so like I'm probably gonna finish out the series. I rated the first book in the series 2 stars, the second one 3 stars, and then this third one 2 stars again. Remember when I was like looking up why choose romance series because I like specifically wanted them? This was like also on that same list that led me to the Royals of Forsyth series, and this is a fantasy romance, and basically like you follow this vampire girl, which like you know that I love vampires, and she's trying to figure out who murdered her brother, and so she like kind of goes incognito to her brother's school, to his college. There she meets for super powerful dudes. What I did not know before reading this series is that it's by the same authors as the Zodiac Academy. I have zero interest in reading that series based off of what I have heard about it. So I never ever would have started this series if I would have known that, but I just honestly had no idea. And if I would have actually got this book physically, I would have known because the paperback covers match the Zodiac Academy covers, but the Kindle covers are completely different. Honestly, it is not well written. I don't want to sound mean when I say this, but the writing itself is bad. That being said, it is very entertaining in the same way that like Love Island is very entertaining. Are they related at all? No, but there's romance in both of them and both are trash. So I think the main thing that is pushing me through the series is that it just requires so few brain cells. Like, honestly, I get the appeal to that because it's just turn off your brain, enjoy this story. So I don't recommend this series. I really don't. But it is entertaining. And I did finish it. That's another, I did the math. It's 222 pages added to the total that I have read for this vlog. I think today I'm gonna park it in the living room and I'm gonna put on the soundtrack to Ori and the Blind Forest, which is one of my all-time favorite video games and has one of the best soundtracks I've ever experienced to a video game. I'm gonna put that on, I'm gonna light a candle, and I'm gonna get really cozy in the living room, and I'm gonna read And Then There Were None. This will be my very first Agatha Christie. I have no idea if this is a good starting point for Agatha Christie, but I got this in a buy one get one half off sale at Barnes & Noble, so this is what I have. It's an adult mystery, and you're following a bunch of people that get invited to come vacation at this like mansion on this island. And then I think there's like a storm, so like no boats can get on or off the island, and then people start dying. I am excited to give Agatha Christie a try, so I will talk to you later. Hello, welcome to my living room. We're at 17 hours, 29 minutes, and I finished another book. I gotta say, I get it. I get it why the girlies love Agatha. There's something about her writing that is very like warm and engaging. This is definitely not a cozy mystery, but there's something about it, even though there are people dying, and even though there's like tension and intrigue in the story, it doesn't translate over to you as the reader. I never felt tense. I never felt worried. I never felt anxiety. I was just having a good old time. And I gotta say, at the end, she got me. At the end, when you read the police report, I was about to be so mad, but then there's like the letter after the police report, if you know what I'm talking about. And I was like, okay, Agatha, you got me. You did get me. Thank you. I appreciate it. So yeah, It was good. I think I'm gonna give this a 3.5. I don't know that, like, I feel the urge to pick up another Agatha Christie, but I'm also, like, not opposed to reading Agatha Christie again. Like, I definitely would if the mood strikes me. It's a really solid book, and I would have to say that it has a very high body count when you consider how many characters there are in the entire book. There's a lot of murdering going on in this book. If you like murder mysteries, I do recommend this. I think it's a good time. I did also want to mention, though, that Agatha is an old dead white lady and she was racist. So I'm just putting that out there. Just making sure we're all forewarned before we pick these books up. So that was book number 5 for this vlog. I think next I'm gonna do a repeat of what I did yesterday, and I'm actually gonna pick up Witch King by Martha Wells. Earlier in the year, I did a vlog where I read anticipated releases, and I started Witch King in that vlog, and I got about halfway through. I'm somewhere around page 200 in that book, but I just wasn't able to finish it in that vlog. Life happens. So I think I've got a little over 200 pages left in that book also. So I think that's what I'm gonna do next. Witch King is an adult fantasy, and it follows Kai, who is a demon. Kai was trapped in a water prison, and then someone comes to try to break him out and put him into like the body of this little girl so that they can force him to serve them, and like they can use his magic and turn him into like a demonic familiar. Except they don't realize how powerful Kai is, and so Kai ends up like taking over their body instead of the little girl's body. And so then after that, him and his friend Zadie, who was also imprisoned with him, take the little girl, and they're basically like trying to figure out who betrayed them, like who imprisoned them, how long have they been gone for, what's going on in the world, like what is happening. It's definitely an interesting story. It's told in like dual timelines because you're getting like the current day Kai, and then you're also getting like Kai's past because he is a demon, he is immortal, and his friend Zadie is a witch and she's also immortal. So like they've been alive for a really, really long time. So you're also getting this past story of how they met and how Kai came to be like living on the plane of existence that he's living on with humans. There's like this really like super powerful nation that was like conquering everybody and like taking over the entire world basically, and then like Kai helped lead this rebellion against it. It's honestly a super confusing book, but like not in a good way like Bunny. That was one of the reasons that I wasn't able to finish it in that original vlog, is because it is dense. I remember just being so confused for like 150 pages. It is a hard book to get into. That being said, that's what I'm gonna do. Why is my brain not working today? Maybe I'm just not smart enough for this book. It's a possibility. Like, I might just not be smart enough. Welcome back to my living room. We are almost done with this readathon. We're at 21 hours, 58 minutes. I finally finished Witch King by Martha Wells. And you know what I have to say? I think it's actually really good. I know I was a bit dramatic earlier, and like, honestly, I deserve to be. This book is difficult to read. And I consider myself like very proficient at reading the fantasy genre. Martha Wells just like throws you into the deep end, and honestly, I felt like I was scrambling. The more I read, the more things made sense. And at the end of the day, I'm giving this 4 stars because, like, I actually do think it's great. And, like, from a personal preference point of view, world building is something that I love in fantasy. But I do have to say that I don't know if this is going to be a standalone or a series. And I originally thought it was a standalone, but the way the book ended, it could really honestly go either way. If this is the start to a series, I'm definitely gonna pick up the next book. But by the time it comes out, I'm gonna have to reread this book, or I'm gonna have to like read an in-depth summary because there's no way I'm gonna remember all of the details that are in this book. And I have to say, if this is a standalone, Martha, you did too much. If this is a standalone, there is way too much intricate world building that like just made the book way more complicated than it needed to be. If this is the start of a series, I can see how the information we're learning is going to be like very important to the overall world. I did also want to say that I really like Kai as a character. He's very entertaining and charismatic. He also seems like very intelligent and kind of creative with his magic. Honestly, I wish that this was actually like 2 books. I would have loved the past storyline where like we learn about Kai, who is much younger and is like on the human plane of existence for the first time, like learning what this world is like not this world but the world in the book is like. I would have liked that, and the rebellion that he gets wrapped up in to be an entire book, and then like the present day adventure to be its own separate book. I actually think it would have been a lot less confusing that way, and I think that it probably would be 2 400-page books, which would give us like more information and more time with Kai. There's definitely this like ragtag group of adventurers things going on, you know, like the start of the rebellion is a lot of political hostages and also like people who are like actual prisoners in cells and like chained up and like being tortured. So the group is very eclectic, and they have a lot of differing viewpoints about how the world works, and seeing that play out on page would have been very interesting. And based off of Kai's characterization, I definitely think Martha Wells could have done a really good job fleshing out some of these side characters and like giving their perspectives and like how their culture is different interacting with Kai's culture. I do wish that it was like a prequel novel and then this present day novel, or even like a prequel series and this present day series. Like I would absolutely read all of that. Like I said though, I am giving this 4 stars. It's really funny though because for a second I actually thought about DNFing it. I really did consider it when I was just like, maybe I am too stupid to understand this book. I almost DNF'd it. I'm very happy that I didn't now. I did want to say though that I don't think I recommend this book for people who are new to adult fantasy. I see the flaws and I understand why people did not like this book, because you have to use so much brain power for this. This is like the opposite of that fantasy romance that I finished earlier. This required all of my brain power, like everything. It's all gone now. So sorry about the rest of this vlog because used it all up reading this. I have 2 hours and 2 minutes left in this 24-hour reading vlog. I think I'm going to use that time to cheat on my next reading vlog. The next vlog that I have planned is the BookTube Knockout Round 7, and I have to read Medical Apartheid for that. That is a nonfiction book about the history of medical experimentation and medical treatment of the Black population in America. So I think that even though I know for a fact I'm not gonna finish that book in this vlog, and I also am not gonna like talk about it in this vlog, I think I'm just gonna like see how much of it I can read in the next 2 hours. I'll add like the pages that I read to this vlog to like my page count total, but it'll put me like a little bit ahead for next week. I gotta get a move on if I want to get that video out. That's the plan. 6 books down, 2 hours left.